A shared attention to detail makes Myrtha Pools and Pikes Peak Athletics Training Centre perfect partners in the pursuit of aquatics excellence. Pikes Peak's commitment to individualised training of the whole athlete is matched by the carefully chosen Myrtha components selected for the facility's 25-yard by 25-metre competition pool.
Well, welcome to Pikes Peak Athletics Training Center. We are in our lobby right now where all of our customers come through. They check in at the front desk and then they either go upstairs or to our swimming pools or down the hall to the locker rooms. So let's take a look. So these areas right here are two parent viewing areas for when their kids are taking swim lessons. It helps because parents are off the pool deck and then the kids can focus on doing their swim lessons, and they just sit and can watch through the glass. This is our teaching pool. We keep this at 90 degrees so that the kids can stay warm and so that our instructors can stay warm and they can really focus on learning versus shivering and being cold. It's also great for aquatic therapy, and we have a physical therapist who has space upstairs and leases from us, and they do aquatic therapy in this pool as well. Our lesson program is a big piece of our business, so we wanted to have a teaching pool dedicated to swim lessons. We do have upper level lessons that will be in the small pool and in the big pool. This is our training pool. We call it the big pool. All of our swim teams train here. Right now our master's swim team is in. This is our Myrtha pool. It is 10 lanes, 25-yard by 25-meter.
Begin with Myrtha's world-renowned classic competition room flow wall and gutter system, the same reliably smooth style behind countless record performances around the world.
We have actually the head walls and the starting blocks are from Olympic trials, so that's really awesome too. We keep this pool at about 79 degrees, which is perfect for training. And like I said, we do have some upper level swim lessons that come into this pool as well. Something that was really important to us when we were building was to make sure that the pool had really good ventilation. So we have this really high-end HVAC system, and we also wanted to get the feeling of an outdoor pool because we couldn't build an outdoor pool in Colorado for a year-round swim team. So we put in garage doors that can open up and kind of increase airflow. The HVAC unit really makes it so that you never really get that chlorine smell inside the pool area. When we built the facility, we built it primarily for our swim lessons and training. However, we do have some swim meets here, and we keep the swim meets smaller because we did build it for training. But because of that, we really wanted to have a great timing system and a scoreboard. So we have this nice Vivi LED scoreboard that parents can see times from anywhere in the facility. And then we also went with Omega for our timing system. We are now upstairs in the facility. We have a coach's office, a conference room, and then we have our gym, 2 locker rooms, and our parent viewing balcony, as well as physical therapists. So like I said downstairs when we were talking about the warm water pool, we have a physical therapist who leases space from us, and it's really great. We have a great relationship with them. They will see our athletes, and then it helps us know what's going on with our athletes faster. So it's got a great partnership. This is our strength and conditioning area. When we built the facility, we wanted to make sure we had a really good space for our teams to do their strength and conditioning. It's a big piece of our program. We do strength and conditioning with all of our groups except for our little ones, and we do it to get them fit outside of the water, but also for injury prevention. What I like about this space is it's very open, no machines. It's very good for functional training. Another program that we've started to develop since we've opened the facility is our triathlon or multi-sport program. So we have this room that's specific for them. We have our CompuTrainers. We have 8 CompuTrainers that people can put their road bikes on, and then they can use these big screens to kind of train when they're not training outside. We were going to have lots of different revenue streams, and one of our revenue streams is our coffee bar. It's very popular during times that our families are here with swim lessons or swim team, and pre-COVID we started to build up the program a little bit more. Since then we haven't reopened yet, but we hope to open soon. We are on our parent viewing balcony right now. This balcony overlooks our training pool. We have fans to keep it cool up here, keep the humidity down, and just like I said about our HVAC system, we don't have that chlorine-y smell. Parents can see what their kids are doing during swim practice, and this helps keep our deck clear so that the kids can stay focused and the coaches can walk around the deck without any parents on deck. We do have Wi-Fi throughout the whole building, so this area becomes very popular during swim practice. Our families are really, really important to us, so every place that we have viewing available, we wanted it to be very comfortable for them. I'm from Colorado Springs, and I met George right after college, and we were both involved in swimming. George worked for USA Swimming, and we were coaching, and we took a break from coaching, and we started looking at different positions throughout the country because George really wanted to coach, and I had just finished grad school, and basically we had been offered jobs throughout the country, and at one point we were offered jobs in Arizona, and one was for a head club coach and one was an assistant coach at a college, and we thought, wow, these are perfect positions. It has autonomy, it has the money we need. Why did we end up turning this down? And ultimately it was because we wanted to be where family is, and I'm from Colorado Springs, so we stayed in Colorado Springs, and we took a break from coaching. George continued to work at USA Swimming. I was working at Pikes Community College as an academic advisor, and then one day I looked at George and I said, let's just do this. We need to follow our dreams and what we want to do, and we want to make our roots in Colorado Springs because we love it here. So we ended up starting Pikes Peak Athletics, and I cold called a bunch of pools and asked them if they wanted someone to run their swim lesson program. And I called the Country Club of Colorado and told them, hey, I'm interested in running your swim lesson program. And the aquatics director at the time said, wow, we're actually looking for someone to run your lesson program. So that's how it started. We started our swim lesson program in 2011. And then in 2012, we started our USA Swimming Club team. So at that point, we had one site. We had probably 50 to 60 kids take lessons with us throughout the summer that summer. Our swim lesson program has grown to probably over 1,000 students throughout 1 year. We have 3 off-site locations, and then our main location is Pikes Peak Athletics Training Center. As far as the swim team goes, we started with 3 kids on the swim team. In fact, they were all in one way or another related to me. 2 of them were my cousins, and one of them was their cousin on the other side of the family. So very small. And then every year we grew about 30 swimmers. Most of the swimmers were just brand new to the sport, and we are now about 180 athletes on the swim team. Our master's swim team started with 6 swimmers, and again, 2 of them were my brothers, and then 4 of them were people that I grew up with. Since then, our master's team has grown to anywhere, depending on the time of year, 80 to 100 athletes. Originally, when we started our swim lesson program, we did it because we knew in order to survive and have enough revenue, we would need more than just a swim team. So our passion has always been with swimming and with coaching, but it turned into much more than that. And now we have programming from water babies all the way up to our master's team, where we have an 85-year-old on the team. So the lesson program is a big piece of our business, but it also is a big piece that helps with the swim team. When we first started and we were at a bunch of different locations throughout the city, it was difficult to get kids to transfer from our swim lesson program to our swim team because they didn't see the swim team. Now that we have Pikes Peak Athletics Training Center, it's very easy. We probably have a 90% retention rate from swim lessons to swim team because our pools are right next to each other, and all of the kids see our swim team training while they're doing the swim lessons. So families, when they're watching their kids take lessons, are also seeing the next step with swim team. When we started Pikes Peak Athletics, we knew the end game was we were going to have our own facility if we wanted to be able to program it the way we wanted and to be able to build. And when we did our business plan for Pikes Peak Athletics, it was in there, and we wanted it to be built within pretty much our 5th year, by our 5th year. It ended up being we were 5.5, 6 years in by the time we started the process of going and getting it built. But we knew we needed it from the beginning because a lot of the pools in town, you have to rent their high school pools or their country club pools or the Olympic Training Center, and everyone else had a higher priority than our swim team. So we knew that if we wanted to grow, we were going to have our own facility. We also knew on the swim lesson side, if we wanted to grow and do the programming that we really wanted to do, we would have to have our own facility with warm water, because at country clubs, members are priority, which makes total sense. So we could only program a few hours a day. So we knew we would have to have our own facility to build that program as well. So it was always in the back of our minds. As we got into our 3rd and 4th year, we started to decide or figure out what we needed to do. So the first step was an advisory board. And luckily we had, built a really good community already with our swim team families and our masters team, that we could choose people that were experts in their field. So we had someone who knew swimming really well. We had a real estate agent, we had a lawyer, we had entrepreneurs, a construction person was on our advisory board. Really smart people who knew their fields better than anyone. And we were not experts in those areas, and those are all areas that you need to know in order to build a facility. So we put together an advisory board. It was 12 people. We told them we were going to have 5 meetings. That was their commitment. They'd be 75 minutes or less, and that we would do all the legwork and that they could just kind of help us along the way. And that was huge. That was a huge piece of our success. They really helped us get it done. Again, we did all the legwork, and we had to have the patience and to get it done, but they helped us kind of make the right decisions. And then when it came down to it, as far as financing it goes, we did an SBA loan and private investors. Only 10 months to build a facility. We had an amazing construction company come in. They were great. Myrtha was awesome. And we got it all done in 10 months, from groundbreaking to grand opening. We have been to a lot of swimming pools throughout our lives. We swam through college, we had coached. So really the design was something that we came up with on our own through our experiences. We did also go to other programs throughout the country that did something similar, where they had a swim lesson program and a swim team. So we did a lot of research on our own. And then with our advisory board, they really helped us find the right people to do it. One of our advisors was the president of the construction company who actually built the pool. So he has a lot of background in swimming and aquatics as well. So that was really helpful, because it wasn't just coming from someone who knew construction, it was someone who also really knew aquatics too. The whole process was definitely overwhelming, challenging. I think ultimately we knew that if we were gonna be successful long-term, we were gonna need to do it. It's still a risk every day, but it's really, really worth it. One of our pillars to success that we came up with when we started Pikes Peak Athletics was a place to work. And to that, or to us, that meant finding a place for our kids to actually do their work, train hard, learn how to swim. And so we knew it was something we were gonna have to do. We wanted a place that our community wanted to be at and enjoy and feel comfortable. We wanted a place where our coaches wanted to come into work and be happy at every day. So yes, it definitely was a risk. It still is a risk every day, but it was really worth it. Throughout the process, when there were the ups and downs of, are we gonna get this done? We're really stressed. It was the end game that really mattered the most. Like every day we still had swim practice and we still had swim lessons while we were building the facility or while we were working on the finances for the facility. And you know, really just the families mean a lot to us, and we wanted somewhere that they could go. And that was kind of what pushed us through feeling that risk and the challenge. I think COVID has obviously affected everyone. And for us, it hit us really hard when we were mandated to just close altogether. And as new mandates came out, ultimately we were left on our own to read the health orders, read the mandates, interpret what they meant. And because we were a small business, no one was communicating with us what we were allowed to do and what we weren't allowed to do. And I think for us, we were ready to go. We wanted to get going again. And because we owned our own facility, we were able to do that. And we weren't in the hands of anyone else. And ultimately, we had to do what we could to fit into the health mandates. So when the mandates first came out and certain things were starting to open again, we were able to open in some capacity. We weren't open to the public. We were only open to do some personal training, and then we could do some private lessons. And slowly, as things started to open up more and more, all we could do was read the mandates. So every time a new health order came out, we read them and we reread them, and we had our advisors read them and we had the staff read them so that we could interpret what it meant for us. And I think having our own pool and our own facility made us able to do that. If we were renting any facilities in town, they just weren't open, and they weren't willing to open for someone that was just renting. So owning our own facility really enabled us to open sooner. It was a lot of work because we could only have a certain amount of people in the pool at a time, and we were running programming all day because we could only have very few people in. But it was well worth it because it opened our doors again. We started to have revenue again, and then really people started to get excited about programming. And then once pools and gyms were open, it was easy for us to transition into our programming again. Our programming doesn't look the same even to this day because we have to do social distancing and masks. But because we had our own facility, we were able to start it sooner than most. Also, right now, outdoor pools are open, but as the weather changes, outdoor pools will no longer be open. But because we have our own indoor facility, we'll be able to continue to do our programming. Why did we choose Myrtha? Simply, they're the best. When we worked with our advisory board, they really pushed us to do our research, look at every option, and in the end, Myrtha was the best. The maintenance is less throughout the years. we had known about them through USA Swimming and attending Olympic trials and knowing the quality was there. And for us, when we were building, quality was a huge piece of everything that we did. We didn't want 10 years down the road having to deal with a lot of maintenance. And we just knew, and in Colorado, soil shifts. And so we knew Myrtha was definitely the best choice for us. Probably something that we learned throughout the process is you just have to have patience. Like, you have to give yourself grace, and you have to know that it is a process and it takes time, and not putting pressure on yourself to have a date that it's going to open or that when the financing is going to be done. You have to know that hitches happen and things happen, and it's not going to just be smooth all the time. I think that would be something that I wish when we were going through it, we understood that at the time. And then as far as the facility goes, I love the facility. I think the only two things that we could have done differently that might be better is just more parent viewing area for our swim lesson kids. Our parents love to watch their kids swim, and we have a great viewing area, but it does get really busy, which is great for business, but I think for their sake, it'd be nice to have a little bit more room, and then more parking. But that's just a testament of the programs and people liking to be here.